What's up, everybody? Welcome into a Wednesday edition of 410 Sports Talk. Appreciate you guys being patient. We are excited. I'm excited.
I'm not
to
too
get
thrilled,
into
Jimbo.
We got so much news. It's going to be a jam-packed show. We got to make sure we get through all of it because there's so much Ravens stuff going on from salty lovers to Big O jerseys and all of the above. So we're going to get right into it. First things first, shout out to all you guys that have joined so far. I forgot what I was going to say. First things first, first I'm
the realist. Let me say this. If you lose either of us or both,
we are in the midst of a hurricane.
There's I think it's a tropical storm now, but it did touch down not far from either of us, a tornado. I think it was like an F2. And so that's a little scary, but so if you lose us, it's the weather stepping in. But
I think we should wait for the big announcement, Glenn, until there's more people on.
Okay, but I think they already know in the comments. I mean, Michael
really
does. Yeah, I mean, so you mean to tell me I can't wear that 57?
No.
I'm not thrilled about this. I mean, whose idea was this? I don't know why I agreed to this.
You know why you agreed to this, Glenn? Because never in your life have you thought you were going to lose anything.
That's true.
Never, ever.
Dang it. Yes, I lost, ladies and gentlemen. Jimbo was the better man in this it was a particular challenge here. Yes, I went down. But I will say my little caveat to me losing as we talk more about the show. But so should we talk? Yes. Should we go position by position? How are we doing this, Jim?
Look, I think where we should start is with the drama. There's a little bit of drama in all of this. And let me say this, Glenn. This is how I'll start this off, and I'll just kind of set you loose before we get into this, because I'm going to be quite emotional in this show. So I don't want to get into the entire roster. Well, we'll get into it, but I don't want to get into all of it quite yet. I want to know if you weren't mad at Bill Belichick before. How mad are you at Bill Belichick for calling up old Ben Mason and poaching him? I mean, he straight up poached him, and now he's a Patriot. So I think DK's got a tweet here. That's where I want to start, if that's all right with you. So if you guys didn't hear, he had a tweet up. We'll have it in a second. There's technical difficulties due to the tornado. But if you guys didn't hear, Ben Mason, here we go. Harbaugh's not commenting on roster movement today, extended to a question about whether rookie fifth-round fullback Ben Mason, who was waived yesterday, was still in the Ravens' plans. Mason was not one of the team's practice squad signings. Harbaugh said it would be up to Mason to announce his own plans. So, Glenn, the way that you explained it to me before the show, and correct me here if I'm wrong, he got through waivers.
Yeah.
He had the opportunity to sign with the Baltimore Ravens practice squad, at least we believe.
Yeah.
But he got a call from old Bill to go up north. So what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, so the way I looked at that is probably what happened was he did pass through waivers. The team reached out to him to explain to him their plans, that they were going to add him to the practice squad. And I'm sure that they, let him know there's a good chance he'd be active in certain situations. But just like they had to cut other guys to juggle the roster, this was just part of the roster juggling. Now, I'm sure it came as a surprise. It probably came as a surprise to a lot of people because the Ravens don't cut draft picks. Certainly not in the first year on the team. So when they went to him and then said these plans, he was probably pissed off. Ben Mason was probably irritated by this, probably thought he had a pretty decent camp and showed some versatility, and he was probably upset. And when he and his agent got reached out to by the New England Patriots and heard there was another team interested, they said, you know what? We're not going to sign with your practice squad. I would rather sign with the Patriots practice squad. And I'm sure the Patriots said, look, you're going to have an opportunity to play and be elevated. And in fact, the early reports from Ian Rappaport are that he's going to be elevated quite quickly to the active roster. So, I mean, I'm sure he was a little bit scorned, a little bit of a scorned lover, ex-lover here. He was a little pissed off about the situation, but also he saw that there was maybe more of an opportunity for him to not just be elevated to the active roster, but stay there once that is the time. And again, this is a team. The New England Patriots have run a lot of the similar set. They're a power run team right now, so it makes sense that they would need a fullback. I mean, just like they use their outside linebackers the same way, which is why they got Judon, and they have the similar style with on the back end, which is why they traded for Sean Wade. So a lot of overlap in the systems, and I think that's why they got him, because look, there's not many teams that run a fullback, and so it was only a few teams that could have poached him.
Yeah,
and they certainly did. But I'm not concerned. I mean, look, Jimbo, who still has the better fullback?
Yeah, let me remind you guys that Patrick Ricard is better. He will be today. He will be in 3 years. He's better. He's a better football player. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's faster. He runs better routes. He's better. So I'm not concerned in that aspect, but I will say this. You said that they're a power team. I think that power punch is no longer on their roster. I mean, if you look at the stats and the red zone and the short yardage stuff, I don't know how successful they're going to be as a power running team with Dad Bod under center. Instead of Cam Newton. Not that, I'm not saying
I'm a dad bod too, Jimbo.
Right, nice. But you're not an NFL quarterback or a rookie in the NFL.
No, that's true. Much less. So
what I'm trying to say though is that, if you didn't have a reason to dislike Bill Belichick before, you sure do now. But this is the other thing, Glenn. This is why I'm upset about it. You know why?
Tell me.
I'm gonna give you a name, and it's his fault. All of it. Jalen Ferguson. Jalen, look, this will happen. Ben
catches blame.
Yeah, Ben Mason saw this roster and said, Jalen Ferguson just made this team, and I've been mowing him over all practice, and he's on the roster. I'm just upset about it. That's all. I'm blaming Jalen for all of it. I don't know how he made the team. I don't know. I don't know what they saw. I'm going to trust in the coaches.
Okay.
But I'm pretty upset about it. All right. Look, that was what I was most upset about. As soon as I saw he made the squad, I was like, this is insane to me. How many opportunities has this kid been given and how much has he shown? Like, to me, nothing. I feel like I could have gotten more pressure on the quarterback in the amount of reps that he has than he has.
Well, you're pretty low to the earth.
Yeah, I can bend, baby.
You get under that tackle, man.
That's right.
And you're quick off the ball, man.
I'm probably going between his legs. Let's just be honest.
Absolutely. Right, but yeah, I mean, that was certainly a surprise. I think both of us had him. Yeah, both of us had Ferguson being left off the final.
Talked you into Mason, didn't I? During our
You did. 53? No, I didn't have Mason.
I talked you into Hill.
Yeah, that's one of the guys that I bested you on.
Right.
But didn't finish the job there. But yeah, I mean, the fact that they kept Ferguson and released McPhee. Now we understand that McPhee is very much in their plans to come right back, and as soon as they did, which they just did, put Miles Boykin and Rashad Bateman on the injured list, they put the IL, which is that's always baseball terms to me, but they're at least going to miss the first 3 weeks of the season. So no real surprise there because Bateman had the surgery and Boykin hasn't practiced in a very long time. So he'll be back. Pernell McPhee will be back. It was just really some roster juggling. But yeah, surprised that Ferguson made it. I mean, now Ferguson could still be that guy that he could be the 53 man. He could be that 53rd man on the roster that if there's an injury at another position, forcing them to pick up some depth at a spot or whatever the case, he could be a guy that doesn't necessarily finish the year on the Ravens. But right now he's on the team. And I guess we should have kind of saw it coming, Jimbo, when Wink Martindale was hyping him up and talking about how he was being held and he was playing a lot better. So I guess we shouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah, I actually, in my mind, thought, okay, everyone that spoke in training camp was safe, right? I just thought, you're not going to put him in front of the mic.
Good point.
But at the same time, I mean, when you're Jalen Ferguson, but let's do this before we dig too deep.
Real.
It is, because look, I tell you what, if the good Lord gave me what that man has, you better believe I ain't wasting it. You better believe it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I want to do this. So let's run through every position group.
Got you. I got him in front of me.
Awesome. And we'll dig into it because there's some other names that I think are going to incite a little bit of emotion as well, outside of just Jalen Ferguson. While he is the focus of my ire today, there are others that I was surprised about and want to talk about.
Focused on my ire. Another old person saying that Jimbo hits us with.
Look, it's biblical.
Ire.
It's biblical, man. It's the,
Okay. All right. I respect that. Okay. Well, let's start with quarterback then, the easy one.
Yeah.
No surprise, just two: Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley. And for all those saying we should go get Cam, please, no. We do not need Cam. Tyler Huntley has showed out and showed enough that he needs to be the number 2 quarterback, and they were never keeping 3. Right. So, and good thing is Trace is on the practice squad.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I honestly do. I there's been no confirmation, but I do believe, we're not a Patriot show, but I think that Cam asked for a release once he got beat. I think he still believes, and I think rightfully so. I don't think there's 32 people in the league better than Cam Newton today. I don't personally. So I think he wants to go out there and see, what he can fall into, right? Like what opportunities there are for him to actually start.
If you're a backup, maybe go to a team that's more Super Bowl ready. I don't know, and the Patriots are definitely expected to bounce back. I don't know if I would call them Super Bowl contenders just yet.
Right. So I think he has other options and wants to get time on the field, and I get that. I mean, Jackson, Huntley, no surprises, like you said. Trace on the practice squad. Running backs, we got 3 for 3 as well. Gus, Justice Hill, Williams. Any surprise? I mean, I wasn't surprised that Justice Hill made the team, but also I wouldn't have been surprised if he got cut either.
Yeah, I guess not surprised. We both had him on our team, but disappointed that Nate McCrary didn't make it through waivers onto the practice squad. I thought he ran really well for the Ravens in the preseason and all of camp. He gets claimed by the Denver Broncos, so he will not be a guy that they can utilize throughout the season, which is disappointing.
Yeah.
But the good news is Justice Hill is back at practice finally. And if you're going to be a third running back, you got to be a special teams guru or ace. And he is certainly an ace on special teams. So I'm glad there, but super happy for Tyson Williams. I watched his presser. Seems like a humble guy. Had similar route to where he is now that Gus Edwards had. So we got kind of 2 guys that had to earn it, weren't given a thing. He played in every single practice this offseason and in every game. So the guy certainly earned it, played well, showed he could do a lot. And he's going to be asked to do a lot because it's like John Harbaugh said when asked about it, this is a 3-back team. This needs 3 backs active every week, which I thought was interesting to hear him actually just come out and say it. So we're not going to see a situation where they have reserves, where Pat's the third running back and now they're going to have 3 running backs active because they feel that's necessary. And hopefully, if called upon, Justice Hill can give us something on the offensive side.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just to add to that, man, I'm losing it tonight. I was going to mention something about Williams, and I totally forgot.
I think it's the hair gel. Guys, tell me if I'm wrong. He says this isn't a new haircut, just some style. You guys tell me if I'm crazy. That looks like he just left Paul Mitchell's studio and, or the Zohan came over and paid him a visit.
Look, my brain is fried. I don't even have time to cook a meal, much less go down to get a haircut.
Okay. All right.
So, this is what I was going to say. I think there are some people, I'm glad I don't know why that jogged my memory, but it did. I think there are some people that are concerned about the fact that our 1 and 2, seemingly are both undrafted guys. And I would just, I've mentioned this before. 1, just remember that our system still is ran by Greg Roman, who I think is fair. Him and Kubiak, to me, are the best offensive coordinators, maybe in the history of the NFL, but certainly in the time I've been watching football, at producing a successful run game, regardless of who's in the backfield. Kubiak's got a lot of people paid, Justin Forsett included. So I think that we've done a lot with a lot less, and I think that we'll be just fine. It was my only point. I feel confident in these guys. I know a lot of people, it's a big hit that JK's not here, but at the same time, I think we'll still be all right. So I just wanted to mention that because it was on top of my mind today because I saw some people concerned about it as well.
At this point, we move past the fact that Gus is is that.
Yeah.
He's gone too far, already to make it, worrisome at that point. But let me just say, we love Kubiak, and I agree, but he's off of the Shanahan tree there. So I think we got to give Mike, old Mike Shanahan, the credit of drawing up those run games. And he passed it down to Kubiak, but certainly Kubiak more in our generation. But yeah, all right. So then we moved to fullback, and we touched on it earlier.
Showing your age, Glenn. Showing your age, my man.
And Shanahan should be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Mike Shanahan. This guy's. I mean, look at the tree that he's created and that scheme he's got. But moving on to Pat Ricard is the only fullback on the roster. We just talked about how Ben Mason chose to sign with the New England Patriots.
Yeah, good riddance, squad. Dude. Good luck with Mac Daddy as your quarterback, dude.
Hey, don't sleep on Mac.
Oh, I'm a sleep on him.
Decision-making machine. This guy gets the ball where it needs to be. Look, I'm not going to.
Isn't that what they said about Tua?
But I guess so. But yeah, I guess so. That's fair.
I mean, let's see what he does when he's not playing for Alabama. Come on, man.
All right. We'll wait and see on that. But just Project Pat and just Project Pat is all the Ravens need, because this is 300 to 310 pounds of man-moving muscle, and he's going to show that off again. And, of course, he continues to grow and evolve in other areas of his game, and we expect him to show those off this year.
Yep. Yeah, all absolutely.
Right.
Where you want to go next?
Let's hear the receivers, Jimbo. You got them?
No, I
got him.
Yeah, I was about to say I got my receivers in front of me. I'm pretty sure I was on point.
Did you keep 7?
Oh, you're right. No, because I got everyone except Boykin. So I got Brown, Duve, Prochet, Watkins, Bateman, Wallace, and then Boykin. So let's start right there. The other ones I think we had the same 6, but we both of us had Boykin off.
Yeah, Boykin's not gone, but he is on IR.
Yeah, was he a bigger surprise to you than Justice Hill?
Oh, that's a good question. I think he was after the JK injury. All right, before the JK injury, but after JK, that's right. Like after the JK injury, Justice Hill making the team was less of a surprise, because I felt like they needed the depth there. But the receiver core has been banged up as well. Now, good news is getting some guys back. Let's see. I have the list here. We do have Marquise Brown return to practice today. So that was nice to hear Coach Harbaugh mention, and as well as Sammy Watkins also back at practice today. So excited to hear. And also on top of that, I mentioned Justice Hill. Oh, wow. And actually Nick Boyle back at practice today.
Yes, just doing sprints. I saw some videos of it, just doing some sprints.
Okay.
But well, you know what? They weren't sprints.
No, he's jogging.
Yeah, they didn't look like sprints to me. I mean,
okay. All right. Well, at least he's back out there. But so, yes, as you mentioned, just to reiterate, Hollywood Brown, Sammy Watkins, Rashad Bateman, Miles Boykin, Devin Duvernay, James Prochet, and Tylan Wallace are the 7 receivers. But like we also mentioned earlier, we won't be seeing Miles Boykin until at the very earliest, week 4, and the same goes for Rashad Bateman as he continues to recover. So no real shockers there, in the sense that, look, I understand we liked what we saw from Benjamin Victor, but what did you grade his actual chances? Unless there was just a devastating rash of injuries at the position, what chance did he ever have of making this team realistically?
Yeah, very little. But let me ask you this. I'm going to ask a question in response to that, because you just mentioned Bateman and Boykin. There's 7 that made the team. Bateman and Boykin are now on IR.
Mm-hmm.
So that means we're going in with Brown with 5, 2 who have soft tissue issues, and Sammy and Marquise. And Victor's on the practice squad, unless I'm mistaken.
Yep, he is. Yep.
So
he can still very much play.
That's what I was going to say. While he didn't make it, I would put my money on the fact that I think he gets out there.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I think that's a fair assumption, especially if Hollywood and Sammy stay at practice and have no setbacks throughout, these last couple weeks in preparation, then, they might decide to activate a different guy, maybe a middle linebacker that, is supposed to be on his way here, which we're going to get into.
Yeah.
Maybe another running back if they find one to add to their practice squad. If Justice Hill is banged up. So, but if all goes well and everyone who is at practice today remains at practice, then I think it's about a 50-50 shot that Ben Victor is activated. Because like you said, there's still 5 healthy receivers. And a lot of times the Ravens go into the game with 5 receivers and don't need that 6th guy being active.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, you had him. You didn't have him down. You thought about it, right?
Yeah, I had a strong inclination, but ultimately didn't make the team.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, well, let's move on to tight end.
Okay.
And 3 for 3.
Another feather in your freaking cap.
3 for 3. That's right. Andrews, Boyle, and Oliver. Look, and I'm just gonna say it, Glenn.
Go ahead and say it.
I was way early on Josh Oliver. I mean, I remember walking my dog when the move was made, and I called you and I said, I got a good feeling about this kid. Got a good feeling. He stayed
I
healthy.
myself out of it. I had him on our team all season. And then
Tomlinson, was it when you saw, like, was it just the eye test that talked you out of it?
No, it was Tomlinson making that touchdown catch from Huntley, and then he made, I think, 1 or 2 other catches. And then the game in where Oliver had a few drops, he had the fumble. It just made me, and then Boyle's status, whether he's going to be ready or not, it was a lot that went into it, but I definitely was wrong. Now, I'll say this. He's on the practice squad. He's back. Eric Tomlinson he wasn't gone long, so he's still back on the team. So I wasn't like completely off there. But you got it. You were right. Oliver definitely brings more to the passing game as far as his athleticism, ability to stretch the field and create mismatches, and Tomlinson doesn't. And I guess they valued that athleticism over the blocking that Tomlinson provides.
Yeah, that was interesting, but no surprise. I was gonna have some. Dang, I forgot to make myself some tea. I was gonna have some tea so I could drink my tea while you were
and just pinky out it.
Yeah, but I was literally gonna have some nice tea because it's raining out. You know what I'm saying? It's tea weather, right? Like tea and soup and stuff like that today. Anyway, all right, so let's get to the O line. Let's see. I got these.
Hey, let's get the bats out because we hit a home run with the O line.
That's right.
I mean, we nailed the biggest position group. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Ravens kept 9, if I'm not mistaken here.
Yeah.
Of course, Ronnie, Powers, Bratt, Bozeman, Zeitler, Villanueva, and then Phillips, Tyree Phillips, Patrick McCarry, Tristan Colon, and Ben Cleveland.
That's it. That's the 9. No surprises,
is there any
right?
people have talked about Jawan James as a potential return this year? Don't you think that would be really soon based on the fact that it's an Achilles?
That would be really, really soon. If you're talking a return for him, playoffs? I mean, that.
So I even heard a source at practice who we all know said that there's a chance he'll come back.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting, though. I don't see it.
And you know what? Those sources, as you look back on what they said that Ben Mason wouldn't make this team, and they said that Shaun Wade wouldn't make this team. So interesting that both the guys that were most outspoken about, they were dead on. So I got to give those guys, and look, they're there every single day, so it makes sense that they would certainly be in the know. But I feel good about this 9, Jimbo. I feel really good about this 9. I know a lot of people are like, we don't have tackle depth. Who does have tackle depth? I mean, most teams don't have depth, period. Most teams don't have a good 5. But in my opinion, they have really nice depth in the interior. I mean, Tristan Colon, I'm not concerned if he's to go in there. You know what I mean? I'm not. Now, if we still have Matt Skura, who, by the way, was cut because his number 1 job is something he no longer can do, and that's snap the ball accurately to a quarterback in the shotgun or the pistol. He can't do it. He's in his head. So I feel good about the backup there. I feel good about Pat McCarry in the sense that we know he can literally play anywhere and maybe not be a Pro Bowler. I mean, that's for sure, but at least be serviceable. And I think he could do that. And then Ben Cleveland is the guard of the future, whether he's on the right or left side. And I think Tyree Phillips got enough run at left tackle, got plenty of run at left tackle. And he's got plenty of experience in the past, year and a half now that I think I'd feel okay about him going in a pinch. Now, if we lose a tackle for the year, then you're in trouble. But I think every team is in that same boat.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you're right. Pat on the back for both of us. 9 for 9. That was a good one. I like it. All right, let's see. We did all the offense. Should we switch over to the defense?
Yep. Let's switch over.
All right. Where you want to go next?
Let's start D-line. The defensive line, the Ravens kept 5. Those 5 being Calais Campbell, Brandon Williams, Derek Wolfe, Justin Metabike, and Broderick Washington. So the surprise cut that we both got incorrect was big Justin Jelly Ellis, who made plays and has always made plays in his time here in Baltimore and has always been one of the locker room favorites, I think, of his teammates. Surprising to see him get cut, but not at all surprising to see him immediately get put on the practice squad.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of talking yourself out of it, I talked myself out of it because in our initial projection, I had him off the team, and then I put him on the team based on what I saw in preseason. But yeah, not surprised he's on the practice squad. And just like we were talking about with Victor, I think there's even a higher probability that Jelly gets out there for he gets activated relatively quickly, and we see him out on the field. So I guess we just had him keeping 6, but we got the 5 right.
Yeah, we got those 5. Yep.
So let's get to, as I mentioned before, the focus of all my ire, the outside linebacker / edge rusher, whatever definition they put on it at PFF. But let's get to the outside guys. They kept. Oh shoot! Let me make sure I got this right here. All right, here we go. So let's see. They kept Justin Houston. Oh geez, I just lost my whole thing. Justin Houston. Oh, here we go. Tyus Bowser, Udafe Owe, Dalen Hayes, and our boy Jalen Ferguson. Ugh.
That's it. Those 5.
Ugh.
Yeah, Big Purnell left off the final roster. Now, good news. He should be back literally any moment now that they IR'd Boykin and Bateman.
I think that they are. Somebody already tweeted about it.
Is he already back? I know that.
Not that he's back, but it's a pretty much foregone conclusion.
Okay.
At this point.
Okay. Actually, it
says here.
So Tomlinson's not on the practice squad. Eric Tomlinson is now on the roster.
Yep.
Which makes
and then Purnell
lost even more bothersome because now he's on the active.
Splitting hairs, bro.
But he wasn't yesterday at 4:00, which means I still lose. But so Tomlinson's now there, and then they presume that Purnell McPhee will be there soon after, but haven't announced it yet. So he'll be back. But yeah, so I guess this was just like go to Purnell, go to his representative, let him know the situation, say, hey, you're going to be off the team for about a day, and then you'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. So I'm feeling good about those guys. In fact, I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling great about the guys we got up front.
Okay, it's hard to feel bad about it unless you have to rely on Jalen. I'm feeling great about him. I'm really excited to see what Justin Houston can do. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited about Dalen Hayes. Owe, get it together, man. No, I'm kidding. I think that he'll progress every game as the season goes on, and then I think Bowser will do some stuff. But yeah, I'm feeling good about those guys in as far as our defensive front as a whole, right? Like if you talk about the big boys up front, I mean, mm-hmm. Wolf, Campbell, and Brandon, and then Metabike, who's really, stepped up as a player. Adding that to the combination of outside guys, I think is going to be suffocating. I mean, oh yeah, it's some big guys. It's going to be hard running through there. The biggest thing is, 3 of those guys are getting up there in age, so hopefully the Ravens can keep them healthy and they themselves can keep themselves on the field because, when you get a little older, of course, the injury risk certainly goes up. But yeah, feeling good about those front, feeling real strong about it. But inside linebacker, I'm mad at myself about this one too because if you look at my paper, I had Welch written down. I had Christian Welch, and I scratched him out for I can't even remember who. But the guys that make the team, there are 4 inside linebackers: Patrick Queen, Malik Harrison, Chris Board, and Christian Welch all make the team. But I don't necessarily think that's the set group just yet because former linebacker, familiar face, it looks like he's on his way back again. That's linebacker Josh Bynes, who saved the Ravens in a pinch before.
Yeah.
And right now everything's fine, but one more injury and we'll be calling on him again. But the good thing is it looks like he's soon going to be added to the practice squad. Josh Bynes was recently cut by the Panthers, and it looks like he's on his way back up here. So if any of those guys either underperform or if there's an injury, at least we know there's a veteran, knows the system, knows the city, familiar with the coaches, can immediately be put into that role again, and he's succeeded in that role in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna pat myself on the back because I brought that one up as well.
You did.
Yes.
Got to give you credit.
I'm being bothersome tonight, but you know what? It's all right. I'm gonna take it. But yeah, I'm excited about Josh Bynes. I'm feeling good about that. At a very least, to continue to coach these guys up. Not that he can't perform on the field, but orient them, give them all the knowledge that he has, and continue to do that. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I had Welch off, of course, as well as you did. I thought they were going to go thin, but that will definitely be interesting. The development of Josh Bynes, how soon he's elevated, things like that, will be interesting to see.
Yeah,
so,
I wouldn't be shocked at all to see Welch and Bynes switch places at some point in the season.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. So let's move to corners.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so corners. Let's see. I keep switching back.
They had 6 corners make the team, and so I was wrong because I had 7, and unfortunately, Nigel Warrior was also claimed by the Seattle Seahawks, so he'll be moving on to hopefully for his sake, make some plays in their secondary. I know Marlon Humphrey, I think, tweeted about him saying, basically he's a baller. So good luck to Nigel Warrior. All the best of luck to him. I thought he made some plays, and I thought he deserved to make the team. But those who did make the team were Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Tavon Young, Jimmy Smith, Anthony Averett, and Chris Westry. And the reason I was kind of, I led off talking Nigel Warrior because
Warriors picked up by the Seahawks, DK.
Yeah, McCrary was the Broncos. But yeah, Warrior was the Seahawks. But the reason I was disappointed to see Warrior go is because when John Harbaugh was asked about Jimmy Smith, he said that the ankle sprain was, I guess, a little more severe, and it's taking him a little longer to get back from it. So it doesn't sound like he's going to be ready in the early parts of the season. So hopefully we get him back, maybe week 2 at the very earliest, but I'd be kind of surprised to hear that. And then week 3 looks like their target right now. But oh no, I see a comment with my name. Oh yeah, I'm gonna boo. I'm gonna Michael Echeverrieta, I think is how it's pronounced. Glenn has to boo Big O while wearing his jersey. Oh, I'm gonna boo the big fella. And let me tell you, I'm going to get the cheapest knockoff bootleg Chiefs Big O jersey that you can find. I mean, I might just put it together myself, and I'm not an accomplished sewer. I don't even know if that's the right seamstress. I don't even know how you say that. But basically, I'm going to do it the cheapest way because I don't want to show any support to the big fella, okay? To him or his Chiefs. Zero support. So
none.
I might have to go to Facebook, Craigslist. I don't even know. Have something that's just hand-drawn by a child. I mean, I'm not happy about it, but I will certainly let the boo birds out and let my feelings be felt here. But
aren't you guys glad that Glenn lost and not me? Aren't you glad? No, not you. Obviously, you're not. Okay. But I'm talking to the folks watching. Aren't you guys glad that Glenn lost? Because it's just so entertaining to watch him toil in misery right now. I mean, Jesus.
You look good in that Baker jersey. You look real sharp in it, especially with that haircut all done up. You look like you step off a DirecTV set with him.
You know what I would do if I got at the end of it? I'd just rip it. Oh.
Well, if I was strong enough, I'll pre-cut it like Hulkster used to do back in the day. Yeah, I have it pre-cut there. But so I guess no surprise here. But I mean, happy for Chris Westry. There was still a little bit of unknown there. I mean, I think a lot of people were penciling him in. But
if you had to pick Glenn over him and Warrior, where would you have gone?
I would have went Chris Westry as well because of the fact that I think he's the more obvious outside replacement for one of the outside guys going down. And I think we got a lot of guys that can go in and play some slot, like Stevens, Ardarius, Anthony Averett, obviously Marlon Humphrey. I think all those guys could go inside and fill in there. Whereas, Westry, a lot of these guys, like Brandon Stevens, not going to do a ton outside at corner, at least not right now. Ardarius definitely isn't going to go outside and play any corner. So if Marcus Peters were to go down, we got Averett. I feel good about him. Mm-hmm. But we got Tavon who can go inside. We got a lot. And if Jimmy's not ready, to step in, then we need an outside guy. And with Jimmy's history of injuries, I think you got to have a few guys outside, and Westry's certainly one of them.
Don't you think it'll end up being that right when Tavon gets hurt, Jimmy's going to be healthy?
I certainly hope not, but
I think Tavon's already bionic, so I think he makes it through the season. I think at this point, like I've said before, he's past all injury. Conor McGregor was talking about his bionic ankle.
Some wood.
I know he's talking about his bionic ankle now or whatever, and so Tavon is just bionic from the waist down, man, just all of it, all the ligaments, everything. So, all right, let's get the safety then.
Up. Yeah, the safety was the big one, Jimbo.
Yeah. And wait a second, really? We'll get there and then we'll talk to it in a second. So Go ahead.
Well, it was 5 to make it. Chuck Clark, Deshaun Elliott, Brandon Stevens, Ardarius Washington, and Geno Stone. And we were kind of split on this one, Jimbo. Mm-hmm. Don't smile too big ear to ear because we tied on this one, okay? Yes, you correctly predicted Ardarius Washington make this team, but I also correctly predicted Geno Stone to make this team. So both of us missed it on the fact that co-cap Anthony Levine was released. Now, expectations are he will be back as soon as the other roster moves are made.
I haven't heard anything.
Well, I guess I haven't heard it except for the fact that I heard initial reports saying that him and Purnell were both.
Oh, and he's already on the practice squad. Levine's already on the practice squad.
Oh, there you go. So he's going to be active likely. I think he's going to be on the 53 before the season starts because things are going to just have to change. But how happy are you for your guy, the little fella, Ardarius Washington?
It's so happy for Ardarius, and we got some love from our guy Landry Burdine, of course, who we had on the show. Tweeted at us and was asking us how good does his prediction look now, giving himself a little love. Shout out to him. That was really cool. I know he was really happy for him. I made sure to tweet back that it was score 1 for the short guys and 0 for all the other people. So shout out to Ardarius, man. That's awesome. Super happy for him. And I'm also, Glenn, encouraged. So I'm interested in the fact that, you got Clark and Elliott, and we've talked about this before. If one of those two goes down, as it stands right now, and even before this, I think really, so they have a lot of faith in Stevens and Washington.
Yeah.
And even Geno Stone to a point, depending on how those three kind of stack up, right? Mm-hmm. But those guys are going to get time on the field. And obviously we'll hope that Chuck and Deshaun don't go down. But I think that those three are in front of Levine if one of the two go down. Even with his tenure, right? Because we don't want him back there anymore. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see the development of Ardarius Washington as a football player. They must have seen more than what we saw. There must have been other things that they said, all right, this kid's special in some way, shape, or form. But I want you to toot your horn a little bit about Geno. What was it? Because the reason I said no is because that first game was great, but then I didn't see too much after that.
Yeah.
So what made you hang on to Geno?
Well, first of all, they drafted him, right? They drafted him, and that means they must have liked him coming out. Then, after he was claimed by the Houston Texans, they went and got him back, which means it tells me they missed him. Then he makes those plays. And the thing, I watched a ton of tape on Geno. He's probably one of the guys I watched the most tape on. And the thing you just can't teach is the instincts, right? I mean, the guy has instincts. He certainly has a nose for the ball. But like you mentioned, Levine is not a guy you want to drop into center field and have that deep third. Well, Geno Stone did so much of that at Iowa. I mean, he was always back there. And although he has some physical shortcomings, he never let that hinder him and never let that hold him back. So I think that those instincts and the experience he has playing that deep third position just led to the coaches having a lot more comfort in the case that, like you mentioned, if Elliott or Clark were to get hurt, then you put that guy in there and the guy can definitely get the job done. And of course, when he proves that in the game and shows out in the game, that only, helps kind of bolster his case. But I thought Stevens showed he could do it. And Washington, while I didn't really see him back in the center field role, we certainly did a lot at TCU, and we know he can do it at that level. So it still remains to be seen if he can do it at this level. But I think all three of those guys showed positional versatility, and they filled an area of need that Levine couldn't fill. While Levine fills other areas, he's the linebacker in the dime. He's the special teams captain, punt protector. And we've seen him a lot. We'll see him play nickel. We'll see him even, man up on a running back and follow him. Even if he goes all the way and splits out wide, he'll follow him and mirror him. So everyone has these roles they have to fill, but I love these young safeties, man. I think they're hungry. They're talented. They're fearless. I love how all these three guys play.
So I agree with you. Where do you think they stack up in your mind as far as the three, right? Like who's the first one? If one of these guys goes in, they're turning to say, hey, strap up.
I think right now it's probably Stone because he has the most experience of the three. He's not the rookie in the room. But as far as who has the highest ceiling, in my opinion, it's Stevens. I mean, I love his physical nature. I love his athleticism is incredible. He's so fluid as an athlete. He's fearless. And he was one of the most impressive guys to me all of camp. I mean, we went to see him, Jimbo.
Yeah.
He was impressive. And it's just so hard to imagine how high his ceiling could be because they haven't even scratched the surface. This guy's been playing defense for 2 years. I mean, he was a corner at SMU. I listened to his presser. I mean, this guy can play nickel. He can play outside. He can play safety. Yep. I mean, it's just exciting. And I love the fact that he wasn't like a rookie just trying to kind of fit in and not make any waves and just kind of no, this guy was making plays, making his presence felt, and he just jumped off the practice field.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's really interesting to me because there are some advantages to switching later in your career. And I kind of want to explain, look, I'm not a professional athlete, right? But I picked up lacrosse relatively later in comparison to a lot of my peers. And so I viewed it through a different lens than other people have been playing it their whole lives. Like I viewed it a lot like basketball. That's how I learned it quickly, right? So I was able to see some things that maybe other guys didn't, but because that was my closest comparison, right? So I think it's interesting because when you watch him play safety, he runs at the line with all the aggression of a running back. There's no hesitancy. There's no concern about getting in between those big guys. There's no concern about, offensive lineman coming to block him or a bigger guy coming at him. No hesitation, no flinching, none of that. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that literally, I mean, the majority of his football career, he's been doing the exact opposite where a lot of times you're getting tackled as a running back by the big boys up front unless you're lucky, right? Yep. And even that, if you're getting to the second level, you're still looking at linebackers who are still bigger than you. And they're coming at you with reckless abandon, right? Exactly. Yeah. And so I think that's really to his advantage. You're right. I mean, I think this kid has all the potential in the world. Couldn't end up being one of the biggest steals of this draft. Certainly. So I'm excited
and if
about.
I would have told you that draft night, you would have told me I was out of my mind.
Yeah, I'd have told you to kick rocks.
We had no idea, and neither did anyone on the internet have any idea.
Yeah, I don't care what anyone says. No one except the people that were there at SMU last year knew anything about this kid. And you went to the draft. What was it? The Draft Network. They had him listed as a running back still.
But I mean, yeah, that's pretty sad. But yeah, no one had this guy. And anything, we couldn't find anything about him except that he switched positions and transferred.
Yeah, it was one of those things. This usually happens with the Raiders, but it was one of those things where all the guys that are pontificating, all the guys on ESPN, NFL Network that are covering the draft, they have some tidbits about some players that get drafted, this, that, and the other. They all were quiet for a solid 3 seconds. Brandon Stevens. That was a surprise, you know what I mean? Nothing to say.
Just shuffling through papers, you just hear
you can they're trying to listen to the producers in their ear real quick, give them
give me something, I gotta talk.
1,800 years. What is this kid, a running back?
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, McDiamond says that haircut is OP. I knew it was a haircut.
Wait, Jimmy, what's OP?
Overpowered, I believe, which is like a video game term, I think.
Look, you got to check the tape.
I could be wrong.
You got to check the tape. I totally did not get this haircut.
All right.
I mean, it's been at least 2 weeks. At least you got to check the tape, my man.
Okay. All right. If you say so. And
but you know what? I appreciate you noticing. I
got criticism for me mentioning about the slew-footed of Malik Harrison. But this was not my opinion. Jimmy, if you remember, I was repeating what Vinny had said, and I even said that Vinny mentioned that. This wasn't like my own unique opinion.
Right.
I was just saying that Vinny Serrato said that, and I said, take that however way you will. And then Jimmy brought up LeBron, and I said I didn't notice it, which I guess I really just didn't. But now that I look at it, yeah, of course.
It's all you can notice now, right?
Of course, and I agree that that it was obviously. But again, this wasn't my unique take.
Right.
Let me just say that. Okay, all right, because I mean I was getting beat up a while back and I never did address it, but people were like, "That is the dumbest thing." I didn't say it. I just repeated what someone said anyway. But
I'm trying to think how that came up though.
What do you mean? Oh, I don't know why that came up now because we haven't talked about linebacker in quite some time, and we haven't talked about Malik Harrison at all this episode. But I'm glad he did bring it up because that made to defend myself and say that was
there
not.
You go.
Look, Zubair says hair is OP. Please nerf the hair, which is another video game term.
What does that mean?
Well, just nerf it. Like bring it. Like if a gun in a shooting game is too powerful, they nerf it. So
okay,
the office terms, nerf. Remember, he was like, "You have a nerf job." Remember?
Yeah. So what do I do to nerf it here?
First of all, no more product. Okay, if you're gonna come in camera looking like Evan Washburn replacement, we're gonna call you out. Okay, because that's who you look like. Quit running your fingers through it.
I gotta look good for work, my man.
Okay, all right, but we've seen you on here after work, and you don't always have that level of product.
It's true. I did it later in the day. I got a later start
because I had a later call. Based?
I have no idea.
That's it.
I have no idea.
Whoever I need to call to report you.
That's fine. I'm not ingesting it. No ingestion here.
Okay. All right. I guess so. But
my freaking hair is the number one topic. We got so much to talk about.
That's right. And here we go. We're talking about your hair.
Golly day, folks. All right. You know what? I'm going to move on here. And I'm going to get to the biggest surprise of the day, and that's the special teamers. No, I'm totally kidding. Of course, we know it's Tucker, Cook, and Moore. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to get to the practice squad.
Yeah, let's do it.
DK has the list up for us, and he's going to put it up on the screen in case you guys didn't know. So let's, just in case you're illiterate, which the chances are very unlikely. Of course, we talked about Trace. We talked about Levine, who we expect to be activated potentially by week 1. Jake Verity, Glenn, didn't get flipped.
And I'm excited about that.
Yeah, because next year.
Well, he could get flipped next year, but let's talk about this list. So just in case you didn't see, it's Trace McSorley, Anthony Levine, kicker Jake Verity, tackle Adrian Ely, defensive tackle Justin Jelly Ellis, punter Johnny Townsend, wide receiver Benjamin Victor, outside linebacker Chris Smith, who had a few sacks in the preseason, offensive tackle Andre Smith. Kind of surprised to see him back.
Yeah.
After he was cut,
early.
It was a little surprise. And then inside linebacker Blake Gallagher. Tight end Tony Poljan, who we're excited to see. I know there were some people asking about Tony in the chat. Wide receiver Jalen Moore and DB Jordan Richards. So I know the Ravens are excited to get back, mainly because of his practice squad contributions. But getting into the kicker Jake Verity and also punter Johnny Townsend, this is just another way of the Ravens just covering all their bases because we all know that the COVID epidemic isn't going anywhere. It still looms very strong. So if there's an issue where either one of those guys were to test positive and be forced to miss a game, now they have their replacements already on the roster, already kicking and familiar with the calls, the system, and to further their development as well, because nobody puts out kicking unit like the Baltimore Ravens. So
yeah,
I'm very confident that if JT was even if it's an injury, not just a COVID stuff, maybe JT tweaks an ankle or pulls a groin and is forced to miss a couple games, I don't think that the Ravens will be as desperate as pretty much every other team if they were to miss their opening kicker.
Well, did you see man, coaching makes such a difference. Campbell, the coach of the Lions, he cut both of his kick. They have no kicker on their roster right now. Not a
How
one.
Are they not so they just didn't they just trade for the Giants kicker?
I don't know, but he cut them and he said, "We have our eyes on some kickers."
I'm surprised they wouldn't, dude. And nobody puts out kickers like the Baltimore Ravens.
I have no idea what they're doing up there. Nor do I think does Dan Campbell. But no kickers. So yeah,
the other thing, kick it.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Maybe he'll just kick it for the team.
Yeah, he'll get out there. He'll bite off some kneecaps, or what did he say? We're gonna bite some kneecaps, kick some footballs, whatever the heck he said. So yeah, this is the practice squad. Not a ton of surprises. I like it. I think it's a pretty strong practice squad. The other thing I wanted to mention here is, so we talked about Verity. Now, I want to understand this. How can people poach off this practice squad if they're going to activate him, right?
They can if they're going to activate him, but
right.
The Ravens.
So Jake Verity could be gone.
He could. He could very much be gone. But let me say this also. The Ravens also can poach off their own list. So each week they have an opportunity to activate 2 members of this team or of the practice squad to the active roster, and then they can go immediately back to the practice squad without being subject to go through waivers like they were this time around. So the Ravens, I think, use their practice squad better than pretty much everyone, in my opinion. They like to cover all their bases and make sure they have contingency plans at every position. And you kind of see that throughout. I think there's 2 spots still remaining on that squad. Most people assume that your guy, Josh Bynes, is going to be one of those spots. And we'll have to see who that other one is. But I expect, like somebody said in the chat, it to be a running back. I mean, they need running backs here in Baltimore. They were expecting and hoping, I'm sure, that Nate McCrary would have been that running back, but he's now gone and playing for Denver. So look out for the Ravens to not sign maybe a splashy. I don't think they're going to go out and get any of those big name guys unless we see another injury at the position. But look around and see they're going to grab some running back to put on that practice squad. There's none on there right now. I find that highly unlikely that on week 1 that we'll still have no running backs on the practice squad.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting and something certainly to keep your eye on. I think that there's a decent amount of guys out there in the market that would be intriguing and compelling, to kind of get people a little excited. But yeah, I agree with you. I think most likely it will be someone that doesn't do that, right? Like there are some names out there, but it's not typical of the Baltimore Ravens to make that type of a move. So it is official. We've gone through the list. We've gone through the practice squad, and I won.
Yeah, you're just going to keep bringing that up, Jimbo, or
I am.
I mean,
until I can't anymore.
So when do I have to pay up on it? When do I have to don the jersey? Is it the recap, right? I think that's what we said, right?
The recap of the
Chiefs game,
or should it be the preview?
I don't know. We'll let the chat decide. Do I wear it? Because I think it'd be more painful to wear it in the recap if we lose. But if we win, then it might be more painful to wear it in the preview than if we. So it's kind of hard. But let us know in the chat. Should I wear the Big O jersey? I'm not wearing it to the game. That is out of the
I'm telling you, bring it and a lighter, and we'll just torch that sucker right there.
Well, if I gotta do it for the recap, then I gotta have it.
Well, I'll just videotape you. I'll videotape you torching it. I think people will like that better. After we win,
I think they want to see me squirm a little bit in it.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait.
It's not gonna be fun,
but he's gonna be so bitter, lady. If we lose and he has to wear this jersey, ladies and gentlemen, whoo! Look out, because it's gonna be vinegar.
I'm going to be a salty B word about this, and I'm just letting you know now. I'm going to be a whiny baby. And now I got to get on the internet and find this jersey because I damn sure know there's not going to be any in the Baltimore area.
Well, look, there's only one. There's one person that's responded that it's all that really matters.
Oh, that's true.
The Katie has spoken, and she says the preview, Glenn. Somebody says both. Now we can't do that to you. You can't do 2.
Dang.
You can't do 2.
I mean, I think I might. I mean, I think that's the only lot. That's the only way to cover all my bases to truly pay up on my bet would be to wear it both times.
Nah, you ain't got to do that.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Because I'm sure I'll lose my fair share of bets, and
all I know is I can't wait to put some salt and pepper on that microphone cover when Adolphe Owe gets to double digits.
Look, I feel so sure
on there for you, Jimbo.
I feel so sure that this thing is never. I haven't even consulted my doctor yet. That's how sure I am about it.
Yeah, when he gets to 8 sacks in 8 games, you're going to be calling old Doc up.
Yeah, you really feel that way? Come on now.
I'm hoping now, especially now. I'm really hoping. And you know what? We had someone send us a message saying that please don't make him do it. It's not. He's been too bullish about this. We're making him eat that darn cover. Okay.
It's going to be in really small pieces.
That's fine.
And covered in sauce.
It's going to come out probably looking the same way it went down.
Exactly. So as long as it's pellets, just yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. The other thing, guys, we mentioned it before. We have Cliff. What's up?
Brim says, you will die if you eat the cover. I mean, just straight to the point.
I don't think I'll die. Like, come on. It's not that big. And I'm going to cut it.
Die and me and DK had to carry on without you.
Wait a second.
Sorry.
Wait a second. You're talking about me dying, and the most important thing is the show, bro? Like, what?
It would get certainly awkward, but I tell you what, I'll have to replace Pitta's picture with yours, and I would do that for you, Jimbo.
Wait a second.
There would be a picture of Jimbo Slimbo, the Haskell, the rascal, would be right over my shoulder.
This is it. This is all I get is a picture. I get a picture over your shoulder. This is all I get.
And I tell you what, I might take that picture now with that hair gel in there. That way, I can capture this moment and that beautiful head of hair you got for all times.
Oh, my God.
The diamond says his haircut will take us to the Super Bowl. Do you see this? Do you see? Look, Fabian says the show must go on. Jimbo, I can't stop
Wait a second.
This, and I expect you to do the same if I reach my untimely demise as well.
Look, I cannot have a newborn child and die, okay?
No, you can't. That would be horrible.
I need to stay alive.
Yes,
right?
That would be horrible. That would be a devastating, but the show must go on, Jimbo. No. I mean, we cannot stop this train for nothing, Jimbo.
No.
And there might be a day where it's DK and Tony sitting on here, and me and you are both out of the picture. I mean,
jeez.
I don't know. I don't know. But
my cheeks hurt. I know that. And not my butt cheeks. I'm talking about my face.
I'm glad you clarified because
not the butt cheeks.
I'm talking about my face. But
I'm laughing way too hard. The other thing I want to tell you on air live, Glenn, I've talked about you before. The place, guys, look it up. It's right near UMBC. It's called Okamoka. They have an awesome stage. I was talking to them last night. The owner is in my MBA class, and we're going to do a live show there. I was DMing with our buddy Don C about it today, ask if he'd be interested in going. We're definitely going to be there. We got to work on a date. We're going to get a call set up to go over like the audio and visual. So that way you guys that aren't there in person can still enjoy the live show, and we will be live for the people in person. Nice. It's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay on the lookout for that as well. And Ray is really concerned for my health.
Ray is concerned. And I mean, maybe for good reason, but Michael's not. I mean, look, you did come up with this. This isn't something you were pressured into.
No, I don't feel like it's going to that's the thing is like,
what happens when he's at like 9 sacks and it's like week 15? How much sweat are we going to see pouring off your forehead?
Nah.
It's going to run that gel right down to your eyes. It's going to make your eyes burn.
I'm going to be like Rudy Giuliani, or whatever.
There you go,
Ronnie. No, but the other thing I want to say too is there might be a chance that Dalen Hayes ends up with more sacks than Udafe this year. And that would not be crazy.
Well, not now. It would have been crazy if you told us his draft night, but not now. Can I
put this into a smoothie? I got a Vitamix that can blend anything.
Man. I mean, I guess that's probably the safest way to do this. Does it make me as happy to hear you doing it that way? No, not at all. Because I want to see that, like, it'll get lost in the smoothie. I won't even know it's in there. I want to see a fork hit that cover and put it right in your mouth with some Old Bay on there. That's what I want to see.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm a little sick though in this regard because I'm still salty over this loss I just took.
You are. Are you salty enough to send me to my grave? That's the real question, Glenn.
Yeah, if I find out that there's any way then no. Absolutely not, Jimbo. Can't let Jimbo the Haskell the rascal go nowhere, I don't want to see you get injured.
Yeah, then what's gonna happen with the show? I mean, that's priority number one.
Show must go on, Jimbo, as I said. But there may be no safe way, like Iman says. There may be no safe way to ingest.
Look, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But let me tell you what, that bridge is about as far away as that drive to Maine. All right, I am not concerned.
That was a drive.
That was a drive. I'm not concerned about it at all.
Okay.
No, at all. I'm feeling good.
Okay. All right. Look, Billy Seals makes a very good point, Jimbo.
Wait a second. Bill. Hold on.
Hey.
Hold on. This is what I'm going to say. How many times do you eat a taco? No fork, no knife when you eat a taco.
Okay. Good point. A burger. Good point.
Yeah, you eat dinner with a family from Mexico. They'll tell you to use your hands because it tastes better that way.
I tell you what we'll do. We'll get you a nice Impossible burger. I'll dice that microphone cover up, put it into a nice slaw, and put it right on top of that. And you dive right in with some pickles and onions and mixed
sounds
together.
Delicious. You have no idea how hungry I am right now. Woo! Let's do it. All right.
Now, does the wife know about this? That's a good question.
Yeah. She don't care.
Don't say it like that.
She's over it.
You're going to make me care because of how obvious she doesn't.
No, she cares, obviously, but she's just very confident that I'm going to be right.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see about that. But Jimmy also briefly
geez. Wait a second. Really quick. Look what Iman says.
Oh, no. There's no room in the hospital. It's a bad time. That's true.
And look at Michael Echavarrieta.
James Washburn. I love it. That's the best. Yes.
Oh, this has been fun. All right, we gotta get back to Ravens talk real quick because we just lost 30 people.
Yeah, they're like enough of this talk. But we will be having Clifton Brown from the BaltimoreRavens.com on in just a few minutes. So we don't have a whole lot longer. But I mean, somebody asked earlier, is there a guy in this group that you think could be the surprise of this group? And it's hard for us to pick a surprise because we talk about, possible surprises all throughout camp, and we constantly identify guys. So if I had to pick one, I'm not going to even go because, there's easy ones. Like Tyson Williams, I think is an easy one. He's going to obviously get some workload this year. There's just no two ways about it when you're the number 2 guy in this offense. And I wouldn't be shocked at all to see him get somewhere around 650 to 700 yards. Wouldn't shock me in the slightest. I think he's a baller, and he's going to get plenty of opportunity. So for me, who I think could step up and surprise some people, it's going to be on the defensive side. It's Chris Westry. And I think that he's going to get an opportunity at some point this year. I'm worried about Jimmy Smith. I know that I still think he's going to be back and playing sometime in the early part of the season. But I'm still concerned about the longevity over the course of the whole season. And the same can be said for Tavon Young. So I do think there's going to be a point in time where Marlon is going to be forced to leave the outside. And I know we got Anthony Averett, and I think he's a heck of a player. And as Wink said, we called him the number 3 corner on this team. But I do think Westry is going to get some clock. I think he's going to get some time. And they're going to challenge him because when they look around, they're going to see Peters. They're going to see Humphrey. They're going to see this. They're not going to want to throw it to those guys. So he's going to get an opportunity. And I wouldn't be shocked at all to see this guy make the most of it. I know he got beat over the top of his head, I think twice in the preseason, which, you don't love seeing. That sounded
funny. Got beat over the top of his head. My bad.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. And I think Terrace Marshall was one of them.
Who's looking real good.
He is. But he's 6'4". He runs a 4.3. And look, he's got the best mentor program around him that you can have. A bunch of guys who not only are talented, but are willing to feed that information down to the guys below him on the roster and help those guys grow. So,
and imagine him getting that
shocker.
And imagine him getting that punch down like Humphrey with those long arms.
Watch out.
He can wrap around because we've seen Humphrey do the wrap around once he gets his hands on you. My goodness, this guy's gonna be go gadget with it.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, my guy though, would it be a surprise? I don't know if this counts or not, but like I'm on the Dalen Hayes train. Does that count?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's a 5th round pick. Yeah.
I think the kid's gonna produce this year. I think I mentioned it before. Crosby, that's the kid from the Raiders.
Crosby, yeah.
Max Crosby. I think it could be similar to that. I think this kid could really show some moves. I think he's relatively under the radar. I think that teams aren't going to be doing much to prepare for him, and I think he's going to ball out. I think he's going to have some plays, and especially early. I think he will be early. I think he will be have more plays that jump off the screen and are impactful than Udafe. Not late, maybe not the second half of the season, but I think the first half of the season he very well could.
Well, that would certainly be a shocker there, and I don't know if I'd be happy to hear that or not, because that would tell me that Udafe is probably a bit of a disappointment. And I don't
in
want
the
to hear
first
that
half
either.
of the season.
Yeah, and I don't love hearing that either. But unless he really turns it up in the second half, then I guess I'd be okay with it. But Dalen Hayes has looked very, very impressive. Now he's an older guy in the sense that he's been around college a lot longer,
more polished.
been around football a lot longer, so he might just have that like you said, that initial edge on him, and hopefully Odafe can run him down and eventually pass him. I think we're both hoping for that because Odafe has the higher ceiling athletically, right?
Yeah, I agree. So let's do some shout out. Let's get DK in here. We'll do some shout outs, do some laundry list stuff. And then we'll let you guys go. The other thing that Nana, we would love to do live with Sarah and Garrett. The only thing is that I don't know if they always like going live. So every time we have a show with them, we ask, and a lot of them prefer just to do a recorded show. But we will absolutely, if any of them are cool with it, we will do it, Nana. We will definitely do it. In your honor, we will do it.
Oh, all absolutely. Right? Yep. And let's get some shout outs done. Don C, always here with us. Yep. Appreciate you hyping up the like button. Connor Shields, who we saw at the game, sat down and chatted with him for a good bit. Appreciate you coming out. McDiamond, what is that? Is that Old Spice hair gel, Jimbo? McDiamond asks.
No, I get my hair cut at Floyd's, and it's just there.
He got it cut. I knew it.
Wait,
the truth has been revealed.
No, I got my hair cut 2 weeks ago. I get my haircut at Floyd's.
All right.
And my boy Joe cuts my hair. He used to be a clown, like an actual,
like a legit brother. Okay,
like a clown. Right. He used to be a clown. He's an excellent barber now. He decided that living with amongst clowns was gross, and anyway, decided to be a barber. So I got my haircut there. It's just their name brand, Floyd's stuff.
Okay. All right. Yep. Connor agrees with me, and I appreciate the support. Brandon Thompson says it was a good stream tonight. Appreciate it. And McDiamond's not buying it either. Everyone is on my side.
I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to pull this up right now.
Purple and Black, thanks for staying up late with us in England. That is awesome that you're staying out. Of course, Nana Rave, we love and appreciate your support as always. 410 Chris, appreciate you coming out. I know we see you in here often. Tanja Bowman, again, commenting on the hair gel. It is the story of the show, Jimbo, and rightfully so.
That's really unfortunate.
Juan Gotti, appreciate you. Go Man, thanks for coming out. Aaron Butler, Lisa Ann, as always, appreciate you coming out. Renaud, I think I'm probably saying that incorrectly, but I appreciate you coming out. Michael, you as well, making a bunch of comments tonight. We do definitely appreciate that. Devin McShane, thanks for coming out. Aaron Butler, if I miss anyone else, I do apologize. All who watched silently, I also appreciate. Travis says the truth. He's new here. Thank you for coming out with us, Travis. Charles Bowie, I know you're a little late. You can always restart it, of course, and see all our thoughts and comments and check out Jimmy's newly cut hair for the entire show. Which he's trying to find evidence now, and he's not going to find it.
I found plenty in all of the recent videos, but I certainly did it up today. And you know what else messed it up, Glenn? Let me tell you what else. I went to the grocery store, my wife and I, before the show, and by the time I was walking back out to the car, she was waiting for me in the car. It was raining cats and dogs, so I had to walk through the rain, and my hair got wet.
That looked like a commercial, Jimbo.
No, it got wet, so it gets real. You know what I'm saying? It gets real sticky. But
remember the bod commercials? I bet that's what you look like. Bod.
I just want to say this as well. I know there's some folks that like miss it or they're working and things like that. Glenn and I have been there. So I also want to remind you guys, we're on anywhere you can find your podcasts. So, whether that's Apple, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find us as well. If, you want to plug us in your ears that way, that's something you can do as well. So, if that's more convenient from you, you're at the job and you got an earbud in, feel free to do that as well. Just a reminder to you guys. Also, find us on Instagram. One of these days, I'm going to get in our graphic up here when I have a second to breathe. But find us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. We're big on the social media scene now, Glenn. I mean, we've come a long way, I tell you what. But it was a blast tonight. We're excited to have Cliff on. Now we're going to release the Cliff show tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. That way you guys got some time to digest this, and then you'll have Cliff on your drive into work or early morning at work, whatever the case may be.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for coming out with us, and we'll talk soon.
See ya.